Hey, what is going on, everybody? It's JPlays1 here. I'm back in our video, and today I'm doing something a little different. I'm making a tier list for all the Fortnite weapons, as you can see. Now, keep in mind, it's all going to be my opinion. If you don't like my opinion, well, then you can just let me know about it. Now, if you don't know what a tier list is, it's basically where there's different tiers. S being the best weapons. A is pretty good. Well, more pretty good. A is, like, amazing. B is pretty good. C is about average, D below average, E is really bad, and F is, I would never pick up this ever, for Fortnite at least. So let's get right into it. Starts off with the Blue AR. Now this is a pretty trustworthy weapon. I'm going to put it in the A tier, just because I feel like it's best at mid-range, obviously, but even at close range, you can still use it, and it's still viable at close range if it's the only weapon you have. Now the complete opposite of it is the Heavy AK, which I'm putting in the E tier. Because if you look at the E tier, its damage drop off, it does a lot of damage, but its damage drop off, I feel like it's too much. It might do like 30, 35 from, I don't know, a little over 100 meters away, and that just seems, I mean, it's good. It's definitely good. It's so hard to hit shots at that, and with such a slower fire rate, I just don't see it as a viable weapon I would use very often, even for the better versions of it. The bolt action, rip the bolt action. This I'm also going to put in the A tier. Just because I actually use this weapon pretty often. I may not have been very good with it, but I like to use it a lot, and it's so satisfying to hit the headshots. Now, I know if you're not a sniper, you might put it down here in, like, the C tier, maybe even the D tier if you really hate it. And I'm not going to quite put it in the S tier just because I don't feel like it was that amazing. But it's good enough to go with the Blue AR, or all versions of AR, I guess. Now, the Boom Bow. The Boom Bow's an interesting one, because I feel like some people are going to put it in the A or S tier just because it's explosive bow that for some reason your shotgun shells. I'm gonna put it in the B tier because it's good. I think it's a little worse than the bolt, even though it does a little more damage. It has explosion radius. I just feel like you're not accurate with the bow. Like, it takes a while to charge up, and then its reloading just seems longer to me. And so that's why I'm sticking in the B tier. Now the burst AR. Now this, off my opinion, it's between E and F. I always never liked the burst. I always never liked. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm gonna stick it in the E tier for now. I just feel like maybe if you had two of them, you can. If you're actually accurate hitting your shots, that's probably didn't like it. I was not very accurate with the burst AR, and so I just feel like the normal AR is so much better. And even if you can land all three shots into destroyer, but just because it's so hard to land all three shots, I'm sticking the E tier. Crossbow. F. No, I'm not going to say any more words about it. 40 damage if you land a body shot, such a slow fire rate. Infinite ammo, which is nice, but that's not going to get out of F tier. Now, the double barrel shotgun. When this was first released, this was going to be S tier. It just annihilated everything. Then it got nerfed down to A tier. Now it's probably C tier nowadays. Its range was never really that good, but it's trying to replace the double pump, even though the double pump was still way better. And I would just stick it right here. Double barrel it's just about that average weapon, pretty balanced, even though it's not in the game anymore. The hand cannon. Oh, this one this one is gonna be so divided no matter where I put it. People are gonna be mad if I put it in S. People are gonna be mad if I put it in F. So I'm gonna just stick it. I'll stick it in B. Actually, no, I'll stick it in C. It's also another balanced weapon. Its damage drop used to be horrible ever since it used to be A tier. Once it could one-shot wood, and that was amazing. Now got moved down to C tier after the nerf. Damage fall off. If we're talking damage fall off, this thing's an F because it does like 30 damage, and you have to hit so many of your shots to get those. But it's a viable weapon at close range if you're landing your shots. I mean, it's like a 150 headshot, so it's pretty good. Drum gun. Not gonna say any more words about it. Even after the nerf, still an S tier weapon. Dual pistols. This is an interesting one. I think I'm going to put it in the D tier, or B, lower C or top of the D. I think I'm going to put it in D tier. I know it seems a little harsh, but I mean, I just feel like I never land shots with this, no matter what range I'm at. Of course, it's not really used for long range. Even if I'm at close range, I feel like I'm just going to miss, and they're just going to have a shotgun, and they're just going to annihilate me with it. So, even then, I just feel like the only reason I'm putting this in D tier is because if you can't land your shots. If you can land your shots, it's definitely an A tier weapon, but I'm just going to stick it with D for now. FAMAS. That's going with the E for the exact same reason as the burst AR. I just feel like it's not a viable weapon for people who can't aim like me, And if you can't land your shots, you're dead at this weapon, and it's just simple as that. The flintlock. This is not a good weapon to use for things. This is more getting jumbled for it. This is more of a utility weapon. So for its utility, I'm also going to stick in the D tier. It is satisfying to land shots with this. Very satisfying, don't get me wrong with that. I just feel like it's not that viable when it actually comes to you. Say you're in a battle with someone with an AR, you're 95% of the time not going to win that battle unless you land a headshot and get that, which is like a one shot if you don't have, if your opponent doesn't have shields. Mumbling a lot. And the reason I don't put it in the F tier is because it's really good when it comes to if you're falling, and it can break your fall pretty easily as long as it's reloaded. And its reloading time is really slow, which is another reason it goes in D tier. Alright, the legendary infantry rifle. This I'm going to put, it's A or B. I'll put it in B tier. I feel like when this first came out, people were all thinking that, oh my gosh, it's the best gun the game will ever get. It's an S tier. Well, no, it's not. It's going in the B tier. Simply because it's a semi-auto weapon, which I feel is not very good for if it's hitting 40s, 3s, which is still amazing. I just feel like and you'll get it if you're in the heat of the moment with an infantry with this gun versus someone with even an AR or even just a pistol. You'll know what it's like just to get lasered, and it just doesn't really feel like you can land your shots with this. If you can land shots with it, it's a really good weapon, like I've been saying for most of them. Pump. That's also going in the S tier. I really didn't like the fact that it got vaulted. Like, the pump got vaulted before Ballers did, which is really weird. The pump, if it's able to one-pump someone, then I'm pretty sure it's able to go in the S tier, simple as that. The grenade launcher. People aren't going to like this, but I'm going to put it in the B tier. And that's simply because I feel like if you're not going to use it to destroy buildings, which obviously that's what you're going to use it for, I feel like it does it well. I just feel like it doesn't do it as well as the RPG does. The RPG, I think, just does it way better, even though it doesn't fire 6 rockets at a time. Like, maybe if we're talking like a giant base, the grenade launcher, yeah, it's definitely better. But it doesn't like a 1x1, which is most people are at the end of the game. It's just a B tier weapon. And if it's like the only weapon you have, you just have to spam it at the ground and hope you randomly hit somebody. So yeah, B tier is pretty good for this. Guided missile. If we're talking first released, we're putting in S. But because we're not talking about first released, we're going to talk about like if it's in creative, even though it's not even in creative anymore. I'm going to stick it in the, it's going to be hard. I'm going to stick it in the E tier. I'm sorry, guided missile, but you got nerfed from 100 damage to 75. You have a slower time. You spend less time in the air than what you used to, and your turning is like trying to turn a car with metal wheels. That was a bad reference. Either way, all right. Forget I said that. Heavy shotgun. Heavy shotgun is really good at range, or it was, I guess. No, it's gone. So I'm gonna put it in C. It was balanced. I don't think it's able to one-shot people, but it could easily one-shot people without shield, which is why. And it had a pretty fast fire rate, so it's just a balanced weapon like the double barrel and deagle. In fact, I'm gonna put it ahead of the deagle. And yeah, so it's pretty balanced. Heavy sniper. I'm gonna put this one in the B tier because it's like the bolt, but the thing is, I mean, it does more damage. It does 157 for a legendary. Either way, they both one-shot headshot somebody with the headshot, and then the bolt is basically just a faster reloading time. The only time the heavy sniper would be better is if the opponent had just like 2 minis on if it switches to 50 shield. So, but otherwise it's either 2 shots for both of them, so the bolt's just better in that way. The hunting rifle. People aren't gonna like me for this. I'm putting this in the C tier. I'll put it above the heavy shotgun. Actually, it'll be the best tier weapon. It'll be borderline B tier weapon because the hunting rifle, I mean, it's best for trick shots. It's the best sniper at close range. It's just 86 damage. Its headshot for 215 is really good. Just 86 body is it's not enough. I mean, it's 3 shots to kill somebody with a pretty quick reloading time. It's just, to me, it just doesn't compare to the heavy or the bolts. Infantry rifle. This one is gonna go E tier. It's gonna go bottom of the E tier, borderline F, just because the weapon, it's basically the legendary infantry, but just with less damage, and that makes it way worse. So that's why I'm sticking in the E tier. LMG. This I'm putting, it's gonna be top of the A tier. It's so close to getting in the S tier, But the reason I put in the A tier is because it was so inaccurate for obvious reasons. Fortnite had to make it inaccurate, otherwise it would like be the best gun game ever. But even at close range, nothing's gonna beat it. I don't even know if the drum gun could beat it at close range, because you had a 100 magazine and you just go and destroy everything in front of you. So I don't think nothing's gonna beat this at close range unless you get like a one pump, or just as soon as you get to mid range, that's when you start to lose off, and it's just amazing at destroying buildings. So top of the A tier is good for this. Minigun. I'm gonna put this in the D tier. It does have a cooldown now. You know what? It does have a cooldown, so I'm gonna put it E tier. Top of the E tier. So now that it's cooldown, it just doesn't seem very viable. Like, honestly, when was the last time you picked up a minigun that wasn't like the first gun you got? When you really think about it, you really think they don't really use the minigun that often. So I feel like E tier is a pretty good spot for it. I mean, it's pretty good when it comes to destroying buildings, but with that cooldown, just not as viable. Compact SMG. This, before the nerf, was also an S tier weapon. They didn't nerf it into the ground like they did the guided missile. So for that scenario, I'm gonna put it in B tier. It could rip you apart at close range. Like, you're not gonna survive that thing at close range. So you might as well try, if you're gonna take a fight with that thing, you're gonna stay at mid range and use an AR or something, or just long range and use a sniper. That's the only way you can defend against this thing. Destroying buildings, it was pretty good at, it just wasn't amazing at. So I feel like B tier is pretty good. Pistol. I'm gonna put this in the F tier simply just because it's the pistol. I mean, it can be really good. Like, this can actually be a really good weapon if you can hit headshots. 40, I mean, it's an amazing weapon if you can hit headshots with it. But I'm just going to put it in F tier for now. Just because it's, yeah, it's the basic weapon of Fortnite. The pump shotgun, that's going A tier. Able to one-pump somebody too, I think. I'm pretty sure it's able to one-pump someone. Daquan's best show of the double pump, which is way better. The pump is way better than a double barrel. So I'm going to put the pump, I'll put it second in the A tier, and it's just, in my scenario, if it's able to one-shot somebody, it at least deserves an A tier, if not an S tier. The quad launcher, this is going S tier. It's going above the pump. Simply, I don't know why my mouse keeps moving. Simply because it's basically the RPG, but you have 4 shots of it, and it does 80 damage each, and it's really hard to outbuild this thing, and it just annihilates all bases better than the minigun. And at close range, you can spam it at the ground, and whoever you're firing at, if they don't have mats, they're dead instantly. Revolver. Revolver, now that I'm thinking the flintlock was at D, I'm going to put the revolver at E, in the E tier, simply because the flintlock and revolver are basically the same weapon, except you get more shots with the revolver, but it doesn't save you from that fall damage, which is really viable for the flintlock, and so, simple. I'm just going to put them right here, not much to say about the revolver. RPG, S tier. I'm not going to say anything more about it. 120 damage for the legendary. Fire it at the ground. Fire it at buildings. No matter what you do, your opponent's dead. The semi-auto. If you're consistent with this gun, you're going to be really good. So, but most people aren't consistent like myself, so I'm going to put it in the D tier. A headshot, it's good for a headshot considering it's a semi-auto sniper, but otherwise it's just not the best weapon. So I'm put it in D tier with the dualies and the flintlock. Scar. It's basically the most iconic gun of Fortnite. It's going S tier. It's going top the S tier. Actually, it'll go behind the drum gun. S tier, easy. I don't think we need to argue about this anymore. Scoped AR. This weapon, I'm going to give also the D tier. The semi-auto and the scoped AR would be pretty good in a duel battle at close range, even though scoped AR would probably win. Semi-auto, it feels like you'd have a better chance of winning. For me, I feel like if I had a scoped AR or a semi, I'd rather take a semi, honestly, because at close range, I feel like I'm spamming 10 bullets right next to somebody and 75 each, and I get hit them with a pickaxe a couple times and they're dead. Versus the scoped AR, you have to consistently land shots when it has the huge balloon when you're not scoped in. Scoped revolver, this is an F tier weapon. It's basically the revolver with a scope, but they make it a legendary weapon, and it's not that good at all. Only does like 33 body damage, so it's not that bad. It is bad, never mind. 6-shooter. That's also going F tier for me. When I first came out, I was like, whoa, this is a pretty cool weapon. But to me, it's just not that cool of a weapon, actually. I like how when you're not scoped in, you shoot faster, but otherwise it's just not that good of a weapon. The OG submachine gun. It's going to go E tier. It's not nearly as good as the submachine guns we have today, but this one was still, it was still viable at close range. Most people say it's like one of the worst guns ever added, but I still think it is viable at close range to me. So I'm gonna stick in E tier. The submachine gun, that's going A tier. That was all about the spam meta. It's going up here. That's all about the spam meta of that Fortnite. That was, in my opinion, one of the worst times of Fortnite, besides when rocket launchers could, like, go through buildings for a short amount of time, for a couple hours. But, seriously, it does, like, 220 damage per second or something for the blue submachine gun, which is more than a legendary compact. So, it just tears through people, no matter what. As soon as you get to, like, mid-range, it only does, like, 8 damage, then it's horrible. But it's simply getting A tier because of how good it is at close range. Suppressed Scar. It's not as good as the Scar, so it's not making S tier. But it's definitely not. It's definitely better than all of these weapons done here. So I'm just gonna put it in the B tier. I'll move it up. Burn it an infantry rifle. Infantry rifle is probably borderline C, honestly. But the Suppressed Scar, its boom is pretty high, but it was pretty quiet. Most times when I shoot people, they wouldn't know where it's coming from. And it destroys buildings fairly fast. So it's just a balanced weapon in the B tier. Suppressed pistol, that's F tier. I never really use it that often. It can be good, but it's basically all the pistols are going in the F tier besides the revolver and the flintlock for me. So I just don't like that weapon. Suppressed submachine gun. It wasn't as good as a submachine gun, but because it had that first shot accuracy, it is gonna go in the B tier. I just felt like it was a good weapon that you could use, and so I put it in the B tier. Is this the suppressed bolt? Yeah, suppressed bolt. It did 100 body, so it could theoretically one-shot someone with no shield. I did not know what the headshot was, so I'm guessing, I think it's like 190 or something. I'm gonna put it in the C tier. I don't think there's much need for a suppressed bolt, because all snipers are kind of meant to be loud. So I'm gonna put it C tier. Alright, the tac shotgun. This is also a weapon that most people choose to pump over. Honestly, I'd probably choose the pump over it too at some point. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So I'm gonna stick it. I can't put it above the pump, so I'm gonna put it also in the A tier below the pump. Because I feel like it's a semi-auto shotgun, so I mean, you can hit 108, you can hit like 130s with these, and if you get like the perfect spread. And so I'm putting it in A tier, and with that fast of a fire rate, it's amazing. TAC SMG. As much as I love to put it in S tier, you guys aren't gonna like that, even though I probably would just off biasism, because I love this weapon. I'm gonna put it, I'll put it like middle of the B tier. It's like the perfect balanced weapon where it actually did some damage at mid range, and it was just annihilator at close range. So I'm just gonna put it middle of the row. Finally, we have the thermal. Thermal's F tier. All it does is scope. It's basically just, it helps you see people in bushes with the fire slow rate, and like the damage of a scar, which is good. Otherwise, it's just not really that valuable. So here's my list of the Fortnite weapons in the tier list. The best guns in the game that I think are the jump gun, the scar, RPG, quad, and pump. Which I think, hopefully, most people can agree with me on this. But yeah, that's my list. Thanks, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!